Okay, so let's just dive right into it. The NBA is absolutely on fire with two huge debates right now, and we are going to break them both down. First up, we're talking about the Los Angeles Lakers and their ageless wonder of a superstar who at almost 40 years old says he feels like a kid just having fun.
And I mean, listen to the man himself. After more than 2 decades in the league, LeBron's just like, I'm a goofy kid who gets paid to play basketball. You gotta love it. He's having fun, he loves the game, and let's be honest, he is still putting on an absolute clinic out there.
And what a clinic is. I mean, seriously, we're talking about a guy dropping triple doubles after sitting out a game 2 days earlier because of arthritis. But that incredible performance has sparked this massive argument. Should Laker fans just enjoy this amazing spectacle, or is this a sign they could actually make a real run for a championship?
So on one side of that argument, you've got the voice of pure realism. You've got ESPN's Brian Windhorst basically telling Laker fans, hey, maybe pump the brakes a little bit. He's suggesting that for this season, you should probably just enjoy the ride for what it is. The realist argument is pretty simple, really. The idea is that the Lakers are in what you'd call a bridge year. You know, they're transitioning, handing the keys over to Luka Doncic as the future. So a deep playoff run? Well, that would be an awesome surprise, but it shouldn't be the expectation. The advice is basically, see a great LeBron game, enjoy it for what it is, a great moment.
But then in the other corner, you have Stephen A. Smith, who hears that just be happy with the moments talk and is like, are you kidding me? Absolutely not. His point is, when you've got one of the greatest to ever play the game on your team, why in the world would you settle for just moments? Why can't you dream bigger?
And here's the absolute core of the fantasist argument. It's not a bad fantasy because it's actually possible. I mean, think about it. When you have 3 offensive machines like LeBron, Luka, and Austin Reeves, they have enough firepower to beat anyone, literally anyone, in a 7-game series. So, yeah, what's so wrong with believing in that possibility? So it really all comes down to 2 completely different ways of thinking. You've got the realist saying, manage your expectations, enjoy the highlights. And then you've got the fantasist saying, with this much talent on the floor, you have to believe in the dream of a title. Now, of course, the realists, they've got some ammo here, right? They'll point you straight to the data. That if you just look at the numbers, yeah, this season looks like a statistical dip for LeBron. He's playing the lowest minutes of his career, and his points, 3-point percentage, and rebounds, they're all the lowest they've been since he was just a rookie.
But here's where it gets really, really interesting. That exact same data gets completely flipped on its head. Stephen A. Smith looks at those numbers and says, this isn't a negative, this is a testament to his greatness. The fact that these are his low numbers this deep into his career just proves how unbelievably high his peak has been for 20+ years.
Okay, let's switch gears completely. We're moving from one team's championship dream to a problem that's kind of threatening the entire league. We are talking about tanking. And the huge question is, do you punish the teams for doing it, or do you have to change the entire system?
So just so we're all on the same page here, when we say tanking, we mean teams strategically and intentionally losing games on purpose. And why on earth would they do that? Well, because the worse your record, the better your chance of getting a generational talent in the draft. It's a system that actually incentivizes losing now to hopefully win bigger later.
Now, the league has tried to crack down on this. They're hitting teams where it hurts, their bank accounts. For instance, the NBA recently slapped some pretty big fines on the Utah Jazz and the Indiana Pacers for sitting healthy players in what, looked a lot like they were trying to lose.
But that approach was met with some very immediate and very public pushback. The owner of the Jazz, Ryan Smith, he hopped right on social media and sarcastically pointed out that his team actually won the game they got fined for. His whole vibe was basically, make it make sense.
And this brings us right to the first potential solution. Just bring down the hammer. Stephen A. Smith argues that the current fines, they're not nearly enough. He thinks any fine for tanking should be at least 7 figures to send a message so loud and clear that teams wouldn't even think about messing with the integrity of the game.
But the other side of that argument from Brian Windhorst is basically, hang on, you can't really blame the teams. They're just reacting in a logical way to the system that's in place. He argues that as long as the system rewards you for losing, you're never going to change the behavior. And this breaks that logic down perfectly. Step 1. The system itself rewards losing. That's a fact. So, step 2. Finding teams is just a temporary fix. Windhorst calls it a finger in the dam, which means the only real solution is to go to the root of the problem and fix the incentive itself. So here we are, with 2 completely different philosophies on how to solve the exact same problem.
Do you go with the punishment approach and try to scare teams out of doing it with massive fines, or do you take the systemic approach and just remove the reason for them to do it in the first place?
And that kind of brings us full circle, doesn't it? These two debates, one about a team's championship dreams and the other about the league's rules, they're really about something much bigger. They make us ask ourselves, when you look at what's possible, are you a realist or are you a fantasist? And when you see a problem, do you punish the player or do you change the entire game?